And pencil soldier seats. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Board of Estimate and Apportionment meeting. Today is Tuesday, December 19th, 2023, and the time is 1:33 p.m. Joining us, we have our City Treasurer, Darius Shankar, and our Budget Director, Gideon Grande. That's who we have today, and then we have Petros Hyla also from the Office of Audit and Control. We can jump right in. We have quite a few items, so I'm going to try to go through them as quickly as I can. But feel free to stop me at any point. We were holding on some clarity on a number of items, so I'll just note them. We have Tony Frederick, who always mess up her name, of course. Sonia. It's not real. It's me and the last, it's the first name last, and I'm always gonna pronounce one of them incorrectly. Sonia Frederick. And congratulations, by the way, Councilwoman just got engaged.
My last name may be harder, so.
Just kidding.
We can commiserate.
Yeah, join the club. All right. So jumping in, the first item from our budget department, seeking transfer $200,000 from contracted services to gasoline account to cover citywide gasoline purchases for the remainder of the year. The next request is from Cultural Affairs, seeking to transfer $300 from the Last Run 5K account to volunteer recognition to cover remaining expenses for the 2023 volunteer recognition event. The next request is from the fire department, seeking to transfer a total of $12,000 from three separate funds into one. The first is from uniforms in the amount of $5,000, fund in the amount of $3,900, and fees and services account in the amount of $3,100. Those funds will be transferred to contracted services to cover outstanding invoices. Next, we have a request from the fire department seeking to transfer $17,000 total from other equipment in the amount of $12,000 and uniforms in the amount of $5,000. Those funds will be transferred to apparatus parts / repairs to cover outstanding invoices. The next request is from DGS seeking to transfer $30,000 in total from three separate accounts. The first is contracted services in the amount of $6,500, supplies and materials in the amount of $15,000, and other equipment in the amount of $8,500. These funds will be transferred to our contracted snow removal account, and this is to cover the retainer for one of our contractors, Herbs, for snow removal for zone C and D. We were just trying to get clarity on which zones were C and D. I wasn't sure. Does anybody hear that? So hopefully we can get that information shortly. The next request is from DGF seeking to transfer a total of about $57,000 from multiple accounts. The first one is contracted services / Capitol Hills at Albany in the amount of $16,000. Training / conferences administration in the amount of $16,000, and contracted services / central maintenance in the amount of $17,000. Lastly, supplies and materials in the amount of $8,000. And then $57,000 going into this contracted services / waste disposal landfill account to cover landfills, invoices for the landfill for CHA consulting services. Any questions there? Next request is from our police department seeking to transfer $2,200 from fees and services to furniture and fixtures to cover the purchase of furniture and appliances for the renovations of OPS and headquarters. Just for point of clarity, is OPS located in headquarters?
Yes.
So, assuming that there may be some general renovations to the headquarters, but also renovations specifically to the Office of Professional Safety.
Correct.
The next request is from the police department seeking to transfer $1,500 from supplies and materials to contracted services to cover Center for Security invoices. The next request is from the police department seeking to transfer $5,600 from other equipment to contracted services to cover additional contract fees for cleaning. We were trying to get clarity on which cleaning service. Would you have an idea? Gideon?
No, I don't know the vendor they have.
Is it, this is for ABD? Yes, but we were trying to figure out which cleaning services, just to provide some detail here. Okay, we're looking, Eugene is looking into it, so. The next request is from the police department seeking to transfer $17,000 from multiple accounts. The training fund account in the amount of $5,000, contracted services in the amount of $7,000, and telephone communication in the amount of $5,000. Those funds will be going into supplies and materials to cover Motorola and Pittsfield Communications outstanding invoices. We were trying to get clarity here. Are these for phone?
No, this is for E911,
It's for,
E911 equipment and services.
okay, because we were wondering why it was going into supplies and materials. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. The next request is coming from police, seeking to transfer a total of $123,446 from multiple, well, two accounts. The first is contracted services / chief in the amount of $108,446 and fees and services / office of professional standards in the amount of $15,000. Those funds will be going into three separate accounts. Contracted services / computer and tech in the amount of $107,446. Training / conferences chief in the amount of $50,000, and contracted services / emergency service team in the amount of $1,000. This is to cover 911 call center setup, planned training and travel for the rest of 2023, and Verde storage invoices. The next is from building and regulatory compliance, seeking to transfer $4,250 from two accounts, other in the amount of $2,100, and stabilizations and demolitions in the amount of $2,150. These funds will be transferred to miscellaneous to cover building and regulatory compliance inspectors mileage reimbursement for the remainder of the year. Rolling along. Any questions about any of those items while I come up for air? All right, the next request is from budget. You can transfer $10,000 from salaries to contracted services to cover outstanding invoices. Budget would also like to transfer $500 from other equipment / central data processing to office equipment / administrative services / personnel to cover the purchase of a new chair for our deputy budget director, $500. That's an expensive chair.
I don't think the chair is that much.
Okay.
I think we just moved 500.
Okay. The next request is from water seeking to transfer $25,000 from their contingency account to chemicals. This is to cover the increase in the cost of chemicals. And then water seeking to transfer $76,000 from two separate accounts, fees and services in the amount of $68,000 and salaries in the amount of $8,000. These funds will be going into chemicals for $68,000 and temporary help for $8,000 to cover increased chemical costs and continued use of temporary help. The next request is from the law department seeking to transfer $8,000 from expense of litigation, that account in the amount of $4,000 and contracted services in the amount of $4,000. Those funds would go into fees and services to cover outstanding invoices. Any questions regarding the items here for transfer requests? We'll move on to increase appropriation items. We have two. The first is This is to recognize funds received from the Carl E. Tooley Foundation to support our Love Your Block grant program. And I am noting that we will see an increase on the expense side in the amount of $10,000 and subsequently an increase on the revenue side for that same amount. And then the next is noting and recognizing the gift grant funds that we've received. There are, I think, a slew of accounts, maybe 15. You have a copy of all of those accounts. Noting on the expense side, an increase in the amount of $1.1 million, and then subsequently an increase on the revenue side. 2 legal settlements, if there are no questions about the increased appropriation items.
One question there, for the other block grant, is this additional funds beyond the original commitment from the Tooley Foundation, or is this just a portion of the Tooley Foundation?
Well, the Letter Block program, I believe, is the Bloomberg Foundation original kind of 50,000 that's usually in the budget, so this would be an addition.
In addition to, was that like a separate application, or is that just like a sort of a?
I think it was leading up the email, because I had received it, and I was told that they would be receiving an additional 10,000 from this foundation towards the efforts. Any information other than that, I don't have on hand, but I could go dig.
I think they're trying to do, like expanding it through the winter to other types of projects because of the additional funding.
Okay, all right, awesome. Thank you.
Was your question answered?
Yeah, and then any other information that we have.
See, I'll forward it to your.
I know they were talking about expanding, so I think it's good to see more money coming in.
Thank you. Legal settlements, we have 2, one from the water department, well, in relation to the water department, where the city is settling with Randall Squire in the amount of $3,200. The city was doing work on a water main and damaged their private water line. So this is to address that damage. And then the second item is a settlement for Ms. Caitlin Wilkins. You know, can't make this stuff up. We had one of our, some folks from DTS who saw their lawnmower, thought it was trash, disposed of it. And now we are replacing the lawnmower that was thrown away for $399. Why are you laughing?
We're laughing on the inside.
So that concludes the items for today. May I request a motion to approve the agenda as is?
So moved. Seconded.
Motion on the floor from our city treasurer, Dear Sunfire, we have a second from our budget director, Gideon Grande. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion carried.
Seconded.
We will send out the final agenda, and then we have a motion on the floor to conclude our meeting from various Sunfire city treasurer, second from budget director, Gideon Grande. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. This concludes our meeting. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas as we celebrate. And I'll turn it over to our lovely colleagues in the clerk's office. Thank you very much.
All right, today is Tuesday, December 19th, 2023. I'd like to call to order the meeting for the board of contract and supply. Today, present, we have Gideon Grande, budget director, various Sunfire city treasurer, Melissa Quintine, corporate counsel, for the city engineer. The first item we have is, from the Albany Water Board, resolve that the bids we received by the board of contract and supply on December 5th, 2023 for water and sewer supplies. For the water department be rejected. The reason for the rejection is the lack of bids, and resolve that the secretary is authorized and directed to advertise for bids on behalf of Albany Water Board, water and sewer supplies. Set proposals to be received by the board in a regular meeting held Friday, January 5th at 1:30, and that each bidder is required to submit a deposit equal to 5%. There was no bid submissions for the sodium permanganate. Close enough, right? The next one is the spoil removal, excuse me. We had a bid submission from Newcastle Paving. it's like bid bonds is included, and they are, their bid is $28 per cubic yard. The next one is from M. Romano and Sons. They have a certified check. And they are bidding $4.60 per yard.
Discrepancy? Well, the first one was how much?
The first one was $28.
The second one was four.
$4.60.
Okay, more power to it.
So, all right, Palumi Sen has offered the following: resolve that the bids for the following named bidder be accepted and the contract awarded to them and for the price specified in their bid, and they being the lowest qualified bidder, theirs being the lowest qualified bid, the mayor is authorized to sign the contract on behalf of the city. This project is Lucid Albany and Westfield Alleyway revitalization, awarded to Harbor Construction for $377,145. The following is offered on behalf of Albany Water Board, resolved that the polyaluminum hydroxychlorosulfate be awarded to Holland Company. I have to. Be awarded to Holland Company for the total base bid of 30 cents per pound, as stated on their bids November 21st, 2023. The following resolution was offered on behalf of Albany Water Board, resolved that the Albany Water Board approved change order 5H06 to Beaver Creek Clean River, Phase 5 for HVAC. Project was Mechanical Incorporated, increasing the contract amount by $54,239.50. The new contract amount is $999,764.60. The new contract completion date, December 31st, 2023. The following resolution was offered on behalf of Albany Water Board, resolved that the Albany Water Board approves change order 5G14 to the Beaver Creek Clean River Phase 3 of 5. General project with WMJ Keller and Sons Construction, increasing the contract amount by $427,800. The new contract amount is $34,954,445.04. New completion date is December 31st, 2023. The following resolution was offered on behalf of Albany Water Board, resolved that the Albany Water Board approves change order 5G15 to the Beaver Creek Clean River Phase 3 and 5 general contract with WMJ Keller and Sons Construction, increasing the contract amount by $308,298.34. This new contract amount is $35,262,743.38. The new contract completion date, December 31st, 2023. The following resolution was offered on behalf of Albany Water Board, resolved that the Albany Water Board approves change order 1G02 to the Fairbush Water Filtration Plant upgrade project with CFI Contracting Incorporated, increasing the allowance by $5,731.95. The new allowance amount includes this item, is $208,588.48. The following resolution was offered on behalf of Albany Water Board, resolved that the Albany Water Board approves change order 2 to the 2023 water and sewer improvement projects with Tech Industries LLC, decreasing the contract amount by $55,470.60. The new contract amount is $540,488.40 with a new completion date of November 30th, 2023. The following resolution was offered on behalf of Albany Water Board, resolved that the Albany Water Board approves change order 5E06 to the Beaver Creek Clean River Phase 5 electrical project with Castleman Electric Incorporated, increases the contract amount by $7,674.50. The new contract amount is $1,805,703.25. New completion date December 31st, 2023. Paloma Sen from the Planning Department has offered the following: resolved that in accordance with the existing contract provisions with the city contract number 9300, that the following named contract be extended for 6 months at the price specified in their existing contract. The new completion date will be June 30th, 2024. This project is South End Connector Phase 2. Improvements to the South End Connector contracts Vendor is Newcastle Paving in the amount of $1,486,000. Thank you, Val. The Department of General Services has offered the following resolve that the city of Albany extend the following contracts for one additional year for the same terms and conditions applicable in their existing contracts. If it's okay with the committee, I will waive the reading of all the contracts.
I would insist.
Thank you, appreciate that. All right, that concludes our agenda for today. Can I get a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion to accept.
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you so much. That concludes our meeting for today. Happy holidays to everybody.